Greetings, Chris here, Woodman Spirit Channel. So I've just been up here mid-April on the property, clearing some, limbing some branches off some deadfall trees that came down in the winter. So it's been a pretty tough winter. I had to do quite a bit of falling during the winter because my dry firewood stock got quite low. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about limbing trees today, although I will show you my old Walters axe I've been using. Yeah, so here's it's an old, I think it's a 2¼ pound Walters, Canadian made. I think the family history goes back to Yorkshire in England many years ago in the 19th century. Walters made some premium axes way back now. I think we've been out of business for quite a number of years, so I think we have very few Canadian axe forges nowadays. But these guys, I mean, they made a range called the Black Diamond, which is more like top of the line steel, better than this, but this is a very good axe nevertheless. Just right, nice thin haft just for limbing dead trees. So today I want to talk about, I want to do an unboxing on a knife. Now this is, I'm wondering if this would be a good bushcraft knife. It's not the latest or the greatest. Most people who think about bushcraft knives nowadays, and me included, I tend to carry knives like this, which you've seen me review. Nice deep sabre grind, approximately 4-inch handle, 4-inch blade. That seems to be the norm nowadays. And a nice sweeping point on there, drop point. Extremely good bushcraft knives. Or this is the Ilkaseku bushcraft knife. So again, that is not an uncommon design of knife to see now. Of course, we always have the Kondo knives, which, because of the price point and the overall good quality, are very popular with people just starting out in bushcraft. This one of mine's been used, this Bush Law, again about 4 inches. 4 inches blade, 4 inches handle. Started off as a Scandi, but I turned it into a more of a convex Scandi grind. Never lets me down, good knife. I'm not here to talk about these 3 knives today. I want to introduce something which some people probably have never considered or never owned, and this is this knife here. Okay, I'll take it out of the sheath, and then no doubt some people are going to recognise it. Okay, this is a Grohmann knife, Grohmann. I think it used to be called Russell Grohmann. Quite an interesting history. Canadian made in Pictou, Nova Scotia. Been made for over 50 years, this design of knife. Some people describe it more of a leaf-shaped blade. It does, as some people have suggested, have similarities with the Nessmuk knife, although I wouldn't say it's a Nessmuk clone by any means. So this one, many of them are in stainless, 4110 stainless, which is similar to 420 American stainless, but this is German steel. But in this case, this one is carbon steel, and it's a C70 carbon steel, which in my limited knowledge of knife making and metallurgy is somewhere similar to 1075 carbon steel, which is strangely a knife used a lot by Kondo. 1075 is an old steel. It's nothing too glitzy or too fancy, but it It's very reliable, but this is actually a step above that, because this is C7, which I believe could be made by maybe by the Bowler Steel Company in Germany. Has the addition of extra chromium and molybdenum in it, which, according to the experts, does makes a significant difference to the edge holding capabilities of this knife. So being 1075, one thing for sure, you have to be careful of. It will corrode. If corroding is a thing that worries you, this knife has to be kept clean and dry. Now, this isn't a regular bush knife. They do one with a 4-inch blade. This is actually the Grohmann number 4 survival knife in carbon steel. So basically speaking, it's got a 5.5-inch blade, and I believe it's about 5.25-inch handle. The handle slightly shorter than the blade. The handle shape differs quite significantly from what most people would call a typical tactical survival knife nowadays, or bushcraft knife. It's got this kind of wasted handle, but the handle is actually quite thick at the back and quite deep at the back, so it's fits well into the palm of the hand, which, you know, for any of you who've watched my videos in the past, you know I have a bit of an issue about high-end knives having often quite unusable or inferior handles. This is actually a very good handle. It feels great. It swells in the palm. Again, this is an unboxing review, so I'm not going to make any comments about performance of this knife. All I know is that it was a standard carry for Canadian forces, I believe, particularly the parachute regiment, for many years, until unfortunately they lost the contracts for knives. I think it was in the mid-1990s. And I'm told, and I'd have to check out my sources on this, but I was told that one of the many companies who copied this Russell Grohmann style knife, belt knife, the company who copied it actually undercut them by a significant amount of money. So the Ministry of Defence decided that they would opt for cheap and cheerful rather than this high quality Grohmann knife. So this is a sheath I got with it, and to be honest, when I bought this knife, it was illustrated with the more typical press stud flap over here to retain the blade. This is just an open, what I would call almost like it would be seen as a typical bush knife sheath, bushcraft knife sheath nowadays. Very well made, nicely welted, well stitched, bit of good thick cow leather. Nothing wrong with the fit and finish. It has the Grohmann logo nicely stamped on there. But I'm no fan of that particular belt hanging loop, and again, I'm not going to go into that today, but when I do a field test on this, I will go into more details as to why I prefer the old style sheath. I have spoken to the supplier. I must say, are very helpful people and very respectful people, and the company's name is from Knife Store Canada. That's knifestorecanada.ca. And Mr. Stapleton and his son Indiana have been very responsive in my communication with them, and Mr. Stapleton has kindly offered to send me the military style sheath as would have been issued to the forces. That is generally available, but he was quite surprised by the provision of this new, what's referred to by Grohmann reps as a new style sheath. And again, some of it is a matter of preference, but you know, from my experience, this style of sheath is somewhat of a retrograde step. And within this nice presentation box, There you see. Russell and Grohmann belt knife, D.H. Russell. Yeah, within this nice presentation box you have a nice leaflet with the Grohmann story in there, and a discussion or a description of the knife steels and the different sheaths that are available. And on this side you have a list of the different models of knife too. So yeah, it's quite an elaborate brochure, so anyone who needs choice in a knife certainly can find lots of choice, from skinners to small belt knives to boat knives, and both in stainless steel and in carbon steel. I think most are in carbon steel, although maybe more in stainless nowadays. So that's quite a nice little addition in the box. Plus, Grohmann also do kitchen knives of a very high quality. So I think I'm not going to go into kitchen knives because that's not what my channel is about. But there is a leaflet anyway on their different kitchen knives, which all look very nice. So yeah, all Grohmann knives come with in the box. They come with a lifetime limited warranty, and that covers repair or replacement, parts and labour. So that's pretty good by today's standards too. And I know for a fact there's a lot of older hunters out there who still have their original belt knife, and it would have been probably this one. So again, coming back to the knife, so yeah, the blade has a good belly. I like knives with a belly on the blade because how I use them, I find like this one is very good for doing feather or fuzz sticks, whatever you want to call them, for fire lighting. It's also been described as a very good camp knife too. Very good slicing. It's a sabre grind. It's got a good edge. I think it's 58 Rockwell or 56-58 Rockwell, round about that. So it holds a good edge. Also, reports that I've read say it's extremely good for field dressing bigger game. And again, this blade shape and this this false edge on here, drop point, would work very well. It's got jimping on here too. Okay, so I'm not going to go into a review on this other than a brief discussion about unboxing. But the point of this video is just to say that there are many hundreds of different knives on the market today, and I think it's quite nice that we can still buy something that is Canadian made for us Canadians and has a significant and respectful history, and has been in use for many years. So if you want to call it a heritage knife, I suppose it's a Canadian heritage knife. It's been copied by many companies, large mass produce. I can think of at least 4. I think Cold Steel have done a version of it. I think Bark River's done a version of it, and I know they make good knives. I also think Anton Wingen, Solingen, German steel, probably the same steel as is in this knife because this is German steel. They made a version called the Yukon Hunter, which is a great knife but hard to find nowadays. So copying is, if you like, is the biggest form of flattery. Anyway, I won't prolong this video anymore. Thanks for joining me today, and sorry I haven't seen you for a while. As you can see, there's still a lot of snow up here, and I've just been trying to get things back to normal and refurbish my wood stocks. My never-ending quest for dry firewood is certainly an occupation up here. So I will speak to you in the next couple of days with a more detailed review of the Grohmann No. 4 carbon steel survival knife. Thank you for joining me. Bye.